The president said he wants to knock a big hole in the wall separating church and state.
I will get rid of and totally destroy the Johnson Amendment and allow our representatives of faith to speak freely and without fear of retribution. I will do that. Remember, freedom of religion is a sacred right, but it is also a right under threat all around us.
The Johnson Amendment is, of course, named for Lyndon Johnson, which he introduced it into a Senate tax bill when he was a senator in 1954. That amendment bars churches and all tax-exempt nonprofits from endorsing political candidates. The idea of doing away with the amendment also appears in a White House draft executive order that it says is about religious freedom. As first reported in The Nation, that draft order also proposes giving individuals and groups wide discretion in denying services, employment, and benefits on the basis of their religious beliefs. Joining us now, Stuart Milk, president of the Harvey Milk Foundation and an LGBT activist. Stuart, thank you very much for joining us again tonight. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate being here.
And Stuart, you've seen this draft memo. It has been scaring people. It's been up for a few days now. And then there's the president today at the prayer breakfast taking an element that's in that memo and saying he definitely wants to get this done. And at the same time, the White House seems to be giving signals saying, oh, no, don't take that memo too seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've been on what seems like a whirlwind. It seems like we've been at this now for months, and it's only been a few days. But we had the president say, or the White House say, that they were keeping President Obama's executive order that bans discrimination on employment in the federal government and with contractors for the LGBT community. That's great. But at the same time, we see these executive orders, draft executive orders being circulated that basically take the hull out of that boat of protection. So the executive order that President Obama put in place is really a boat of protection for the LGBT community from discrimination. And these executive orders would actually gut that. And so you'd be left with a boat with sides and nothing to prevent you from drowning. And don't forget, Donald Trump also said that Ted Cruz's discriminatory amendment that would allow people to, called the FADA, that he would sign that. That's also something that would gut protections for LGBT people and give people a license to discriminate. And as it the ability to allow religious organizations to participate in the political system with their tax-exempt status. You know, if you listened at the prayer breakfast, he didn't even get that big round of applause from that, because most of the religious community, I don't think, really want to go back to those days. They don't want to be involved where they may be clearinghouses for people, for billionaires and for companies to avoid the checks and balances that we have in political contributions. So, you know, we're in many ways exhausted from what seems to be a ping pong ball. And unfortunately, we're not the only community. The LGBT community is not the only community that's part of that ping pong ball. And I do have to point out, Lawrence, that when the president says that he is going to protect the LGBT community, as he did at the convention, well, let me make it perfectly clear that if you attack refugees, then you are attacking the LGBT community. If you're attacking the Muslim community, you're attacking LGBT people. If you are taking away rights of women, you are attacking LGBT people. If you are attacking people of color, you are attacking LGBT people. This divide and conquer, this whirlwind that we're on, it's just got to stop. And people have to be able to rise up and say enough. You know, I think we're all exhausted from this carousel that we've been on. And, you know, if these things like draft executive orders don't have any weight, then someone's got to come out there and stop it. Someone's got to close the door on these type of things that are coming from the White House. And we've got to be able to shut down things like FADA, the Ted Cruz amendment. Hopefully there'll be enough Republicans who will realize this is legalized state-sanctioned discrimination.
Let's listen to what Sean Spicer said about this today.
People should be able to practice their religion, express areas of their faith without reprisal. And I think that pendulum sometimes swings the other way in the name of political correctness. There's clearly a lot of evidence in the last couple of years of the government coming in with regulations and policies that have, frankly, denied people the ability to live according to their faith.
Stuart, what did you hear in that answer?
You know, again, this is the ringer. I mean, what he's basically saying is that we're going to support some form of discrimination and call it religious liberty, and it's actually antithetical to liberty. To be, you know, it's double talk, and it's you know, it is an attack on what our country is built on, which is our liberty and our individual pursuit of happiness, and it's really the current way of attacking our freedom.